Hey everybody! Ever since I posted the video on how to build a sump for a reef tank, I have received messages from people asking, how do I get the water from the tank down into the sump? So in this video I'm going to discuss a few of the possible ways of getting the water from your tank down into the sump. Now I will be discussing 4 different methods that I have used in the past on getting the water from the main display tank down into the sump. The first one will be a reef-ready tank, and a reef-ready tank has the bottom already been drilled out by the manufacturer, and the manufacturer has also installed an overflow wall into the tank. The second method will be to drill the bottom of a tank and build your own overflow wall. The third method will be to drill the back of the glass on the tank and install an overflow box onto the back. Now, one thing I need to mention, as always, you never drill tempered glass. If you don't know if your tank is tempered, contact the manufacturer. If you can't find out if it's tempered or not, do not try to attempt to drill the tank. You'll shatter the glass on the tank. The final method that I'm going to discuss would be for a tank that someone doesn't want to drill, or that all of the glass is tempered on the tank, and that would be to install a hang on the back overflow system. So let's take a look at these 4 methods of getting the water from your display down into the sump. So this is a reef-ready style tank. This wall here has been installed by the manufacturer. It's got some slots in the top for water flow and some slots also in the bottom cut into it. This wall is sealed with silicone. The water comes over the wall into this chamber here. The water gets picked up with this elbow here, follows the plumbing down through the bottom of the tank. Through the bottom of the tank, it flows into my sump here, goes through the sump, gets picked up by the return pump, which then in turn pushes the water back up to this other pipe right here, which I have a Y on the top of it, and 2 returns, one right there and another one right there. So that is the basic setup for a reef-ready style tank. It's pretty simple. So let's take a look at drilling the bottom of a tank and building your own overflow wall. So this is my 40-gallon breeder tank that I drilled the bottom in. Same basic style Durso do-it-yourself pipe in the bottom. Breeder tanks do not have the bottom of the glass tempered, so they're very easy to drill. Once again, if you do not know if it's tempered or not, contact the manufacturer, and if you cannot find that information out, don't drill the tank. So anyways, I drilled the bottom of the tank. I made the do-it-yourself overflow, and then I cut a piece of acrylic and basically built my own wall here, siliconed it into the corners, took a piece of black acrylic and cut teeth into it, attach that onto the top of the wall piece of acrylic, and that keeps your fish from going over the sides or any other small critters from going onto the back side of the overflow. That's no guarantee that a fish won't jump from one side to the other, but it does help in keeping larger things from getting back on the overflow. Something like a snail, if that were to get over onto the backside, it could plug up the intake on your overflow if you don't have a screening type method on it, and would cause the water to overflow in the tank. From here, this is connected onto my 90-gallon tank. Goes down into the sump just like I showed you previously, and then the return is just a simple U-shaped pipe with a flange on the end of it to return the water. So the water comes in right here, flows through the tank, comes over here into the overflow, and down into the sump. Now let's take a look at the drill in the back type system. So this is my 25-gallon cube tank, and I just set this tank up a little over a month ago. And this tank does have the bottom glass tempered, but the side glass on the tank is not tempered. So I'm going to show you how I went about getting an overflow into this tank. So this is an overflow box that I made out of black acrylic. I temporarily attached it onto the back glass to find out where I needed to drill the hole in the glass. I then drilled a hole and installed this bulkhead fitting right here that's black, and then my plumbing attaches to the bulkhead fitting, runs down underneath the tank into this little 5.5-gallon sump I have here. The pipe on the right is the water coming down from the tank. It flows through the sump and gets returned back to the tank via this pump right here, through this PVC pipe, back up into the tank. I have another hole drilled and another bulkhead fitting installed for where the return comes into the tank. These are all threaded fittings so that it can easily be removed. And that's basically how you do it on the back side of the glass. So I've gone over a reef-ready tank, drilling the bottom of a tank and installing an overflow, and drilling the back of a tank and installing an overflow, which leads us to our last one that I'm going to discuss, which is a paint on the back style overflow for a tank that is not drilled. So let's take a closer look at it.